Yo, so I've been doing a little bit thinking, like since the last video. If you remember, some pretty major stuff happened. For me, anyways, right? Stuff I've been waiting for a long time, a giant step, if you will. And when something like that happens, you can't help but start thinking about things. And in my random thinking, I came up with a couple things. And I think it could help you out. And that's what we're going to talk about on this week's Tuesday Morning Tech Tip from Pugliese Speed Shop. All right, so the major thing is, right? Huge, absolutely huge. But there's other things that have changed around the shop that you guys might not know about. Maybe you, not to worry. We're a little bit ahead on videos right now, but not so much on tech tips. I might need to start learning a little more, right? So keep watching. Another week or two down the road, you'll know exactly what's going on right here. And it's nothing bad. It's just, it's stuff. Stuff and things, guys. That's what we got going on right here. But there's other stuff missing. We might have one less door over here. The wheel department is just dwindling down. And there's a crazy bird somewhere up there making noise. That's not, am I being attacked? Dragonfly. What are you gonna do? He's not annoying at all. Anyways, like we were saying, I came up with some things and I want to talk to you about it. And the dragonflies got me all discombobulated. So we're going to sit down. I'll regain my thoughts. Let you know what I'm thinking. This is what I come up with. Don't be that guy.
I don't know if you're aware of this, Gutter, but there actually was music recorded before 1989. What is this? You're going to wear this to the show. You're going to wear the shirt of the band you're going to go see. Don't be that guy.
Oh, okay. Maybe I didn't come up with it all by myself. But I first heard that phrase back in the 90s, right? That movie come out. Then, 10, 15 years later, the Navy put out a campaign of like, don't be that guy. And they're talking about don't be the guy gets all drunk and like, falling down the pier, all that kind of stuff. Solid advice, right? But what I'm talking about has nothing to do with either one of those particular situations, right? I'm talking about that guy in hot rodding. And there's a lot of that guys. There's the guy that, do I want to insult anybody in this? Yeah, why not? There's a guy that goes to AutoZone, finds everything he can find, bolts it onto his car, and looks ridiculous. There's a guy that thinks he's the man because, he went and bought like a brand new Vet or whatever and puts it in a local car show. And nobody cares that you got good credit, dude. That's not what hot rodding's about. There's that guys in every single situation, to include working on junk like I do, right? You guys might remember when I went and bought the doors and all that kind of stuff, I was pissed. And I was pissed at myself, right? I went and I found these parts. Nick found them. I found them, forgot about them. Nick found them, and I started thinking, I should probably go get them. Because it was in the back of my head. If you remember, because I let other stuff go, and I was just reaching, right? So I convinced Megan to jump in the truck on a Friday night, drive to Baltimore. Never a good plan. Rainy night. It was a nightmare. So we end up going to this guy's house, younger guy. So that was cool. He's in the hot rod and he's doing cool stuff. And that's something I always love to see. And he's, trying to recoup some of his money. So he's selling these parts. We made a deal. I got there. We made a deal before I got there. I get there. Some of the parts weren't what I could use. He didn't misrepresent them at all. This wasn't what I could use. So I was like, I'm not going to be that guy. I gave him the money that we agreed upon. And I just took what I needed, right? Because it was me. I was reaching for stuff, and I had the wrong attitude going into it. This kid's kind of playing on the money. I'm not going to screw him over. So, solid dude. He helped me carry the stuff through the mud into the truck, and I am just upset, right? And I did a video on it talking about how upset I was. And then I said, you know what? These are good parts. Let's see what we can do. So I took a couple of things I was going to use, which I think actually has now turned out to be nothing, right? I didn't want to change the doors. I didn't think they were in that much better shape than mine that it would really help me out at all. The bumper was actually in worse shape than mine. The valance wasn't in great shape. And these are not expensive parts, guys. I just ordered the front bumper for this thing. It's like $200. And if I would have ordered it a month earlier, it was $150. The valance was $30. The license plate bracket was $10, right? So look around before you do this kind of stuff. That's what I'm saying. But I ended up not needing that stuff. The interior parts, I was going to go with the full plastic around the whole thing. Turns out my truck doesn't even have the holes drilled for that. So that would be an awful lot of time there. And I started thinking about it, and I like the kind of minimalist look. So I decided not to use that. But guys, there's always somebody out there that needs it, right? So I listed for sale. The entire interior thing, I think I asked $100 for it, right? A guy came, needed a lot of it. So he gave me $100 and took what he needed. Kind of reminds me of what I did, right? So then I started taking stuff off of this thing that I was replacing, whatever. And I was like, you know what? Somebody has like a beater that they don't want to go out and buy brand new stuff for. So sure enough, guys, little by little, I sold all these parts, right? I'm not trying to get rich by any stretch, right? Actually, a kid came by needing an armrest, and I just gave it to him, right? I mean, it's like little stuff like that. So by doing all this and selling the parts, like the old seat that I didn't need and whatnot, we have recouped the money and then some. So I'm definitely not upset. And I still got one door left, and somebody's going to need it. And it'll sit there until somebody does. Now, along those lines, you guys see like we put new wheels on, all that. Sold those. Guy was looking for them forever. He was local too. He's like right here. And this is why. I almost forgot about this. This is why you don't be that guy. This is why you take care of people. You guys remember the hard body? Well, I bought that a couple years ago, built it, sold it to Raekwon, who's still loving that thing. As far as I know, I haven't talked to him in a while, but awesome. That thing was destined for the scrapper, and it ended up being his pride and joy. And posting pictures all over Facebook, glamour shots, all that, still doing it. So it's like awesome, right? That's the best case scenario. Well, I was up in Jersey. This guy wanted to buy the wheels. And I was going to wait to list them, and I was like, Megan's like, I'll take care of it. So I list them. Guy kind of flaked a little bit, and I told him, dude, forget about it, man. I'm not having her wait down there forever. You're done. And I just took the ad down. He's like, hey, man, I really want the wheels. I'm looking for them forever. I'm sorry I was late, this and that, da-da-da. I said, all right, man, well, I'm out of town for a while. When I get back, he said, okay. And he says to me, he's like, hey, did you have a hard body for at one point? And I was like, yeah. It was his uncle's. So I kind of live in a small town. His uncle sold me that truck and actually hooked me up, right? He gave me an awesome deal, delivered it to the house, and we ended up, talking for a while and all that kind of stuff. So it was like, cool. And I'm like, well, this kid is, I got you, man. Right? So you help out the next guy. That dude helped me out. I passed that on to him. And then, if you guys remember, the part of the wheel emporium over here, the wheels that I was going to put on a Suburban, me and old Wade, we shot out to West Virginia and picked up these wheels from a guy that, as soon as I jumped out of the truck, I was wearing a pudding shirt. And he's like, hey, look at that. Yeah. So we're of the same people there, right? We buy these wheels. I'm gonna put on a Suburban. I ordered the wrong size tires. I did the math incorrectly. That didn't work out, which was fine because it turns out those wheels didn't fit on the back of the Suburban. It was a whole Suburbans versus C10 thing that Mortsky figured out, and I should have known, but I didn't. Either way, I couldn't use the wheels. They sat here. Those wheels never even like rolled, other than rolling through the shop. They never got put on a vehicle. So, put them for sale. Dude comes and buys them. Of course, small town, right? We know a bunch of different, and small military, he's a Marine. We know a bunch of the same people. Now we're buddies. He's building a C10. They're going to be awesome on it. So it's just like, I was going to hold on to those. I was like, you know what? I got a lot of money in these wheels. A lot of money for me. Okay. And I was like, I'm gonna hold on to these things, and I'm gonna buy a square body and do that and put those wheels on it. What am I gonna do that? Right? So they're sitting over here just collecting dust, along with the other wheels, along with that. So I've been going through things, guys, and just getting rid of stuff. Now I'm not giving it away. I'm selling it for pretty much what I paid for it. In that wheel situation, I might have lost $100, but they were going to be worth nothing after I let them sit, right? So, and I know Ole's going to disagree 100%. I'm hoarding stuff. I'm being that guy. That guy is like, oh, no, I'm going to build it one day, and that never happens, right? Now, that doesn't mean I'm like offloading the fleet out here, but if you want to dodge, we might be able to make a deal. But, no, seriously, like, I'm realizing things, guys. I was getting very frustrated. I mentioned with the other truck, the 65, I was overwhelmed by some stuff. Now I found a guy that's not overwhelmed by it because he's done it, right? Okay. So now that allows me to free up a little time doing some stuff I want to do on this truck. I'm going to move on to other things. But in the meantime, I got stuff that's just piling up around here. Not just projects, guys. Parts, a lot of times parts I'm not going to use. For some reason, I got van parts over there that, so some things are like small block Chevy. Yeah, I'll hold on to those guys. I'm going to use those. Am I ever going to need the front bumper for an 87 GMC van? Probably not. Probably not. So somebody might need that. Like I said, I don't need to sell this stuff right now. I ain't trying to get rich off it, nothing like that. But I listed a couple things, we had that LS motor from John's truck sitting back there. I pointed at it. I don't know why you can't see it. Either way, it's been sitting back there 2 to 3 years. Now I think it had a spun bearing or something like that. It ran and drove great, and it just had a slight little noise in the bottom end, and we knew it got starved of oil. Well, maybe somebody needs that, right? I figured out, guys, I'm not an LS swap type of dude. Maybe eventually someday, but it's not my thing right now. Somebody might need that. John just wanted to get rid of it. He's like, here, keep it. So I stuck it back there. And again, I ain't trying to get rich off of it. But somebody's like, hey, can I come take a look? Sure, man, come take a look. What am I going to do with it? And I might have a motor coming in that I need to put back there for a little while. So I'm kind of helping myself too. I get it. The point I'm trying to make, guys, is, quite simply, don't be a douchebag, all right? You got stuff people need. I didn't pay a lot for it. I'm not going to, help people out, man. That's what this whole community is about, Taking care of each other, keeping these things on the road, keeping them looking good, keeping them whatever. Not everything's, a 9-second car that's got to have the perfect paint or this or that or whatever you think you saw in a movie somewhere. Sometimes running around a beater makes you the happiest guy in the world. Guys, you couldn't see, but when I was driving that 65 over to Joe's house, permagrant, dude. I was like, this is it. I know it looks like a bag of ass. I know the whole side's caved in. I know it's going down the road like this. I didn't care. It was awesome to be driving that thing. That got me thinking, stop messing around with all this little nickel and dime crap or whatever. Clear some stuff out. Work on what you love. And help out the next guy. Don't be that guy. Thanks for watching, guys.